I think that the main one of the big positive aspects is trade. That it's so easy to get merchandise from anywhere in the EU, and I like that greatly. I think that it's a very good trade union, and it should continue to be so. And then I think that the free movement within the EU is just incredible. I've been traveling a lot in the EU, and I enjoy it greatly. And I would think that what would be the third one? It would probably be like a streamline of quality. So you have like a consensual quality check, so that the merchandise you get from Romania is of a good quality, as well as it is in, say, Sweden. So I think that's like 3 points which I think is great about the EU. 3 negative points. One would be it's understanding it is impossible. You look at all of the kind of like subgroups of the EU, and you look at all the rule makers and all the laws, and it's completely impossible for a standard guy as myself or as an EU citizen to understand and to kind of grasp the idea of where the EU is going, and also the idea of the actual EU. I think that is a massive issue, and I think that immigration in the EU is probably the biggest issue we have. That we don't have an outer border, so people can cross into a European Union, and then from there be granted rights just for the simple act of crossing the border. I think that is that's just crazy. And then thirdly, that the EU is kind of taking a lot of cultures and putting them into a one box and creating laws and systems for that specific one box. And I don't believe that is a especially good way to do it. I don't think that the laws that you have in Denmark isn't necessarily the laws that you should enforce in, say, Spain, or the laws you have in Spain shouldn't be some laws you should enforce in Denmark. But yet again, I don't know about this, because it's just so complicated to figure out when an EU law is valid and then it's not. So that'll be my 3 points.
Okay, I'll first come to the positive. I think every connection in world is a good one. So every time when you have many ideas going to one idea, it's always better than just having one opinion. So people are always stronger being connected. It's like, for economic reasons, you have big advantages to be in the European Union, because you benefit from all the other economies in this union. For example, Germany is one of the strong economies in the union. Other nations who aren't that strong benefit from the strong ones. On the other hand, for countries like Germany, it's like a safety, that it's not like one country can ruin itself. So also for political and for exchange in culture, religion, I see big advantages in all these points. For people who can move between countries, who can make who can do work in every country, who can do great projects like yours, just like whatever they want, and yeah, like it's all also for the mosquitoes possible to pass in every way they want. So, well, disadvantages. I think the only disadvantages which comes to mind for me are that you can be lost in bureaucratic way the union works. You know, a law that passes by the union, it's just like it has to go through the nations and through the states, and it's so this thing would be, I think, the only problem I can hardly imagine now. In most of the points, I don't see any reason which is a huge disadvantage being in the Union also for Germany. Well, maybe the economy could be better or not. You know, it's like you have to give things to Union, but you also get a lot back. So I could not imagine whether it would be better or not.
The main positive aspects of my country, Austria, being in the European Union, I think it's that, for example, 70% of our trade, we do it with the other member states. Yeah? So that's very beneficial. It has created so many job opportunities for us. And yes, as I mentioned already before, it's a project of peace and we are free. And this is what we have to focus on. The negative aspects on the other side is that, for example, right-wing parties in the moment use the European Union as a way to tell people that they should be afraid of opening the borders. They should be afraid of the other, which is completely nonsense. And thanks God we have projects like Erasmus, like what you're doing right now, Interrail, yeah, that we can get even closer and that we build a strong European Union for future generations as well.
Pues positivos, según yo, creo que es la oportunidad de viajar, que es muy bueno. Y lo negativo a mí me parece que es euro, porque cada país tiene un poco todo diferente y la unidad europea quiere que todos tengamos mismo precio de, por ejemplo, más o menos de comida, pero los precios que ganan, por ejemplo, mis padres o los demás, es un poco no se puede comparar con otros países. Y lo que pasa que los precios aumentaron, pero a mí me parece que los demás ganan casi lo mismo en mi país. Pues las cosas no cambiaron en mejor sentido, a mí me parece que en peor sentido.
One of the positive aspects of being in the member of the EU is that we have some common laws that we have to respect. I mean, the government have to respect and they have to take care that they follow these laws. And these protects our democracy, and but also they kind of say but so it is not as free, or I could say that we do not have that much freedom that we could have if not being in the EU. But right now I think that it's not a negative aspect but a positive, because as I see it, it protects our democracy.
Well, positive would be traveling, easier traveling between countries. That's for sure positive. And from economic standpoints, I know maybe investments, but I'm not really sure about that. And negative aspects, again, sometimes, in my opinion, foreign capital is not always good, especially for a small country like ours. So, something like that.
Maybe bad economy, because I think we are doing better before we came to the European Union. And maybe all directions they are giving to us, there are more for their tourists.
It's easy to travel also.
They could do more for us, I think.
I
think that it's much easier for people to travel to one country to another, also for to buy and sell things from state in the European state, and that's it. And I don't see a bad view of the European, but in Italy at the moment they are split. In fact, there are people who are in favor of the European, while the other side think that in Europe don't always help Italy with problem or with tax. So there's this side of Italy that think that, but I don't see that as a problem.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
That wasn't so bad.
Arrivederci.
Okay. But see what European Union enables us to do. You are here now in Austria and we are sitting in a park and talking and laughing. Great.